This video is about understanding the relationship between slope, rate of change, find the slope from a table, graph, or function rule, find the y-intercept from a table, graph, or function rule, and find the missing variable given a slope. So in the first couple of problems, we want to find the slope or rate of change. Remember that we can use a table or we can use our slope equation. The slope equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, we always reduce our slope. So in number one, we have the point 8, -5, and 2, 11. So we have x1, y1, x2, and y2. So when we go to find our slope, we would have 11 minus -5 over 2 minus 8. 11 minus -5 is 16. 2 minus 8 is -6. Both of those numbers can divide by 2, so this would reduce to -8/3. In number 2, we have 0, -12, and 26, comma 1. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So our slope is 1 minus -12 over 26 minus 0. So that gets us 13 over 26, which reduces to 1/2. In number 3, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So our slope is -3 minus -3 and 6 minus 10, which gets us 0 divided by -4. 0 divided by any number is 0. In number 4, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So our slope is -12 minus 2, 5 minus 5. We get -14 over 0. We can't have 0 in the bottom when we divide, so this is undefined as our slope. Find the slope and the y-intercept in each representation. So number 5 is a table. So to find our slope, we want to look at our jumps to get the change in y over the change in x. So our y's, to get from 8 to 12, we are adding 4. To get from 12 to 16, adding 4. 16 to 20, adding 4. For the x's, each time we are adding 2. So our rate of change is the change in y over the change in x, which is going to be 4 over 2. That divides to 2. The y-intercept is not the starting number in the table. The y-intercept is where 0 is for x. So we have 0 for x down here, which means our y-intercept would be 0, 20. In number 6, our line is going down from left to right, so that means we are going to have a negative slope. So from my coordinates, I want to see how much did I go down, how much did I go over. So you can count your grid lines. So we have 1, 2 that we went down, -2, 1, 2 that we went over. So our slope is -2 over 2, which reduces to -1. Our y-intercept is where we are crossing or starting on the y-axis. So the y-axis is that vertical axis. So we are starting at this point, which would be 0, 7. In number 7, we have a function rule. Remember, in a function rule, your slope is found in front of the variable, so our slope is -10. The number by itself is the y-intercept, so 0, -7. Always write it as a coordinate. In number 8, the graph shows the amount of money that Isham has in his account. Decide whether the statements are true or false. Isham starts with $50, which is true. That's the y-intercept. Isham is spending money. That is false because the line is going up, which means his money is increasing. So he's not spending, he's saving. The slope of the line is $10. So if we look at our slope here, we went up one grid line, which is representing $50, and we went over 5 months. 50 divided by 5 is 10, so this is true. After 10 months, he has $200. At 10 months, he's only at 150, so this is false. What if the slope is already given to you? How do you find the x or y coordinate? So this is why the slope equation comes into play and is very important. So the slope equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So when we go to find our slope given the information, we have find the value of x so that the line passing through 4x, 4 and 8, 10 has a slope of 2/3. So when we do our slope, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So we would have 10 minus 4 over 8 minus x. So when we reduce this, we get 6 over x minus 8. Well, our slope they also gave us is 2/3. So we can set these equal to each other. So we have 2/3 equals 6 over x minus 8. This is now a proportion, so we would cross multiply. 2 times 8 minus x. Remember to put 8 minus x in parentheses. Equals 6 minus 3. So we can distribute the 2. 16 minus 2x equals 18. We can subtract 16 from both sides. Negative 2x equals 2. When we divide by negative 2, x equals negative 1. In number 10, we want to find the y equation, so the line passing through the point 3y and 8 and 5, 8 has a slope of 2. So again, we're going to do our slope. We have x1, y1, x2, y2. So that's going to get us 8 minus y over 5 minus 3, which simplifies to 8 over y, 8 minus y over 2. If it has a slope of 2, we can write that as 2 over 1. So 2 over 1 equals 8 minus y over 2. When we cross multiply, 1 times 8 minus y is equal to 2 times 2. 8 minus y is equal to 4. We can subtract 8 on both sides. Negative y is equal to negative 4. When we divide by negative 1, y is 4. In number 11, we want to put the equation in function form and then identify the slope and y-intercept. Remember that function form means that we are going to solve for y. We want the equation y equals mx plus b. So in order to solve for y, first we would subtract 2x from both sides. Negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 9. Then we would divide everything by negative 3. Y equals 2/3 x minus 3. So our function form, y equals 2/3 x minus 3. Our slope is the number next to x, so our slope is 2/3. The y-intercept is the number by itself, so 0, negative 3.